Jesus said, when he was asked about his world, he said, "My kingship is not of this world. If my kingship were of this world, my servants would fight that I would not be handed over to the Jews. But my kingship is not from this world." This is when Pilate confronted him. Earlier, he had said, in John 16, he said, he's come to overcome the world. Perhaps his most famous, John 14:27, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give with you. Not as the world gives to you, but as I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." Reverend Ken Pagano of the New Bethel Church in Kentucky, newbethelchurchky.org is the website, has urged his parishioners to bring their guns to church. Now, Reverend Pagano, welcome to the show, first of all.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You shoot regularly at a local firing range. I do, too. My brother's a big gun fan. I don't own a gun, but he owns a whole bunch of them, and whenever I get to Michigan, we go out shooting together. In fact, several of our family members do. I think it's a great sport. I don't hunt, but I do shoot. You and I share this. But what I don't get is why, as a Christian pastor, you would be encouraging people to bring to church weapons that are designed for one single purpose. This is not, pretty much most other products that have multiple uses. That single purpose is killing other human beings.
No. You just said yourself you don't hunt and you enjoy shooting, so you don't use them for killing other people. So I mean, let's be honest. If we're going to parse words, let's be honest.
Okay, you got me. You got me. But your point is that
the point is sidearms are originally meant for self-defense.
Exactly. They were just killing other people.
Yes, it is. It depends on what side of the muzzle you're on. If you're attacking me, my family, my wife, or my loved ones, then if you're in the front of that muzzle, yeah, that thing's designed for harm and mayhem. But if I'm on the opposite side of the muzzle, that instrument is now one for life, liberty, and protection. Matter of perspective.
So then you are taking the absolute anti-Christian. So you're taking the absolute anti-Christian position.
No, it's
that
not
what Jesus did was wrong. That when Jesus was confronted by violence, he said, "Okay, put me up on the cross, kill me." And then what he should have done was pull out a 357 and blown him away.
No, you're exactly right with your opening remarks. I agree with that. When Jesus rebuked Peter for his cutting off of Malchus's ear when they was coming for his betrayal, he never rebuked him for possession of the sword. He also even encouraged it at one time. He knew that these men, some of them, not all of them, some of them carried swords.
I think when he said, "I came to bring a sword," he was speaking metaphorically. He was talking about the religious wars. He wasn't encouraging anybody to kill.
I agree, and I am not either. But I don't think that is unbiblical at all.
But you just did.
Wait a minute. Let me finish. No. I didn't say kill. I'm talking about self-defense. Whether it's a firearm, whether it's not a firearm, whether you fight or flight, I think every human being has the right for self-protection.
Well, respectfully, sir,
let me finish. When it's your show, but I'm your guest. When Jesus rebuked Peter, it was for the inappropriate use of the sword because it was Christ's destiny to go to the cross to die for sins. That's why he rebuked him at that time. He was fulfilling his God-ordained purpose. I don't think any contradiction from
all of his disciples. All of his disciples were murdered, and some of them in horrible ways, and none of them pulled out a 357 or the weapon of the day, obviously. None of them fought back. What you are saying is that those people who have followed Jesus' example, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, the many martyrs, the thousands of martyrs over the years, particularly within the Catholic Church, but throughout Christianity, who have stood in front of guns and said, "Go ahead and shoot." You're saying that those people are wrong. I would say that you are twisting the message of Jesus Christ.
Do you have an earned doctorate in theology?
I did 2 years of seminary. I don't, and I'm ordained, but I do
not
know.
Great.
I don't. But I do consider myself a Christian, and I say to you, sir, you are twisting the message of Jesus when you tell people to bring guns to church, and you tell people that the appropriate response to violence is to shoot back.
What we did, as far as I'm concerned, is perfectly biblical. It is perfectly historical. Their founding members of the founding people of America had laws on the books that you had to attend church with firearms. So evidently they thought it was okay. It is not illegal, so the Commonwealth of Kentucky thinks it's also okay, and it's not unconstitutional.
So when Jesus said, when you are persecuted in my name, rejoice, he should have said, when you're persecuted in my name, kick their ass.
I'm being persecuted right now because you're coming against what I feel is a valid interpretation, which I support your right to disagree with me. I am not advocating violence or murder.
Well, let's take it a step further. Let's say that this is, you invoked the Founding Fathers.
Okay.
And yes, there were some Founding Fathers. Patrick Henry is probably the most conspicuous, who was opposed to the United States Constitution, in fact, because it didn't establish a theocracy in the United States. It didn't establish an official religion. He was a deeply religious and what we might today call a conservative religious person. You had others, Thomas Jefferson, who were far more skeptical of religion.
Sure.
Why should my tax dollars and the people in Kentucky, why should their tax dollars pay for your fire protection, your police protection, the roads to get to your church, all of the infrastructure that makes it possible for your church? Why should we pay for it and you not have to pay for it if you are going to preach something beyond religion, if you're going to start preaching the politics of the founding of this country?
No. I didn't preach anything that's beyond religion. I didn't preach anything that was beyond religion.
So, but wait a minute.
I pay taxes.
You're making the case.
I pay taxes.
Your church doesn't.
Well, but we didn't do anything that was unpolitical or that was anti-political or making a bold political
No, it is political. I'm saying you have violated the law, the IRS laws.
No, that's your interpretation.
Oh, of course it's my interpretation.
Well, that's fine. Then I can disagree with your interpretation.
Of course we can, and that's why I'm asking you, if you're going to make political statements in favor of the Second Amendment, which you will not find in the Bible, if you're going to make political statements from the pulpit, and you're going to ask your parishioners to come to church and make political statements, why should you continue to have tax-exempt status?
I can listen, just because I make statements that may touch something politically, that doesn't mean that I'm invalid for making such a statement. I am perfectly within my rights.
You can say anything you want, but why should I have to pay your taxes?
Well, you don't pay my taxes. You're in Oregon.
At the federal level, you are deriving federal benefit, and you're not paying federal taxes. I am paying part of your taxes.
I'm paying your taxes too.
I'm sorry, I'm not tax exempt. This is a for-profit show, and we pay taxes on the profit that we make.
Well, that's fine. Listen, that is something that we are allowed to by government. There's plenty of other organizations who also are tax exempt. That is the code.
I will defend to the very end your right to say anything you want from the pulpit. You can get up there and you can preach. You could preach an entire sermon about the wonders of Tide detergent. But when it is not about religion, when it is not about inspiring people, when it is not about bringing people to Christ, in the case of Christian religions, then in my opinion, I should not be subsidizing your rants on the Second Amendment.
That's your opinion. And here it is.
I would say it's the opinion of the IRS.
Because of this event, I have had more opportunities to share the gospel with people that I would have never had the opportunity to do so.
But it's the gospel of violence.
No, it is not.
It's the gospel of guns. It's the Antichrist gospel.
Were you at the event? You don't even know me.
I know.
I've never advocated.
I know that you ask people to bring guns to church.
Listen, open carry, it was a celebration service. So what? You know what? I've got calls from Jewish rabbis who are advocating starting a national security committee of clergy who are thinking that having trained security personnel in places of worship is the right thing to do, that any city, state, or federal
in part
government
because you've got so many people who've come into churches and murdered people. Look at what happened in this Unitarian church last year, where this guy who hated gays came in and opened fire.
I agree.
I have no problem with your having a rent-a-cop there with a gun to protect your parish. I got no problem with that at all.
Okay.
But you're preaching politics and the Second Amendment, frankly, as a Christian, offends me.
If it is genuine preaching not only touches on the kingdom of heaven, it also has to affect people who live on the kingdom of earth. Any preaching that is not salt to the earth and light to the world is just some type of ethereal mysticism. This stuff, I believe, has to have an effect where we live now, and hopefully will prepare us for where we will live in the future.
I just can't imagine that Jesus would have said, if somebody comes along...
Just because my preaching touches something political is not wrong.
I just can't imagine that if Jesus Jesus
Read
Jesus
the whole
thought
Bible.
that the
Read the
I
whole
have.
Bible.
I actually have 5 times.
And
I
believe it's
cannot
all
believe that the
Jesus' word.
appropriate response
Thank
from
you. Have a
Jesus
great
would
day.
be.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Pot up my board, would you? There we go. Reverend Ken Pagano on his way. NewBethelChurchKY.org, his website.